All right, so let's get going here. For this video, we are going to look at evaluating expressions using Mathematica. So just some basic operations, such as evaluating some expressions like 2 plus 4 times 6, or combining fractions. We'll also look at using the square root command with the idea that the concepts we learn for square root will be the same for all other commands, such as sine, cosine, log, etc. And we will also look at using the n command, which is used for decimal approximations. So let's get started here. By evaluating, we'll just go with this one, 2 plus 4 times 6. So to do that, we just type in 2 plus 4 times 6. And for Mathematica, to execute this command, we're going to have to hold the Shift button and then tap the Enter key. So what I'm going to do is I'm holding Shift right now, and then I'm going to tap the Enter key. And we see that we get 26 right here. Next, I'm going to show a different way of doing this calculation. Maybe I'll do a little different. I'll do 2 minus 4 times 6. And if we open up this keyboard, if you have a numeric keypad on the right side of your keyboard and you press the Enter key here, what's going to happen is it'll execute this command, but you do not have to hold the Shift while pressing this to execute the command. You do have to hold Shift to execute for this return key. If your keyboard does not have a numeric keypad, then you'll have to use Shift Enter to execute any commands. So if I just press that Enter key on the numeric keyboard, we see the expected result of -22. Now, something else I want to show. Let's do a different calculation just to illustrate. 1 plus 80. And what I'm going to do is press just the Enter key right here while not holding the Shift key. So I'm just going to press this button right here and see what happens. So this is a distinction for Mathematica. For the Enter key that's close to all the letters on your keyboard, holding Shift executes a command, but pressing just the Enter key creates another line where maybe I can do a second operation here. So maybe I want to do several calculations, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5, right? 1 plus 80 and 1 minus 80. I can press the Enter key to have as many of these as I want. Once I am satisfied, I'm doing all the commands that I want. I hold the Shift key. I'm holding it right now. And then I tap Enter. And we can see Mathematica will do multiple commands at once, right? The 1 plus 80, 1 minus 80, and the 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5. Great. Okay, let's take a look at fractions. What we saw was if we have 1/3, let's just say, plus 1/6. I hold the Shift and press Enter, and we get 1/2. Now, Mathematica automatically does the simplification for fractions, which is pretty convenient, right? A little more versatile than a standard calculator. In a minute, we'll look at how to do the standard output for decimals. But first, let's look at the square root function. So The command for square root is capital SQRT, where the S is capitalized and the QRT are lowercase. Also, for Mathematica, we always use the brackets, not parentheses. So the brackets are located right here on the keyboard, and we do not use the parentheses here. We just use the brackets. A few things before I get going, before I execute this. Notice if I do a lowercase s, you might notice that the text is in blue, which is how Mathematica lets us know it does not see this as a command. When the text is black, Mathematica is telling us it knows what SQRT is. It's the square root function. And this is true for all sorts of other commands, sine, cosine, etc. So I'm going to hit Shift-Enter, and we get the expected result of 4, right? Because, of course, the square root of 16 is 4. If we try a different value, such as square root of 20, and hold Shift-Enter, we get 2 root 5, which is the exact answer, similar to the 1/3 plus 1/6, right? It gives us the fraction value right here. We can see 2 times 2 is 4. Put that in the square root. 4 times 5 is 20. Now, suppose you want to get the more standard decimal value for square root of 20. There are 2 ways in which to do that. One way is to type in square root of 20, but if I put a decimal, Mathematica is going to know that I want a decimal output, right? If I can have this in exact form, it gives me the output in exact. If I do this as a decimal, we get the more standard decimal value. Another way of getting the decimal, perhaps I want this to many digits. We know Mathematica is very powerful. Maybe we want 40 digits carried out here. So what we're going to do is use what's called the n command. So I'll just first show n square root of 20 by itself gives us the normal output. But if we modify this, do n square root of 20, and then I put a comma right here, and then say 40. I want 40 digits. Aha, you can see Mathematica gives us the 40 digits. We can even do something crazy, 400, and we see 400 digits. Now, keep in mind, I'm going to do one more example with this. Keep in mind that it doesn't give me 40 decimal places. It gives me 40 total digits, or 400 in this case. I'm not going to count those. That's why I did 3, because then you can see, okay, when you say 3, it means 1, 2, 3, right? And we can see, just like for that similar example above, if we do a fraction and we want the decimal value, we get 0.5, as opposed to what we got earlier, which was 1/2.